Hello my dear viewers, welcome back to Times Drive English, and today we have with us is the Maruti Suzuki Brezza and the Tata Nexon. Now these two cars, especially Tata Nexon, has been fiercely competing with the Brezza for the number one spot for some time now. Sometimes Brezza takes the lead and sometimes Nexon takes the lead. So in this video, let's compare them side to side and see which one offers more in terms of features, design and performance, and which one comes out ahead. So first let's talk about the design of both these cars, and let's start with the exterior itself. Starting with the Brezza here, you get the chrome elements in the front grille of Brezza and the Suzuki logo in the chrome itself, and you get the combination of body color black and silver in the front bumper of Maruti Suzuki Brezza. You get the projector headlamps with the DRLs and the fog lamps here at the bottom. So in the front end of Tata Nexon, you get the LED DRLs and the integrated in the DRLs itself, and you get the two sensors in the front. Both the cars get the 360 camera feature, but Tata's played a neat trick in terms of placing the sensors in the car. They have given two sensors in the rear and two in the front, but Maruti has given four sensors in the rear. And the color combination that is there in the front of this Nexon is body color plus black plus silver skid plate that is there in the front end of this car. Now moving towards the side of both these cars get the same size tires, 16-inch 215 section tires, but the alloy wheels design is completely different. And apart from the wheel size and the alloy wheels differences that are there in both these cars, you get the cladding in both the cars over the sides, and you get the dual tone combination in the top end variants of both these cars. One feature that is there in the Brezza, which is not there in the Nexon, is the passenger side keyless entry features. So this feature is there in the Brezza and it's not there in the Tata Nexon. Moving towards the rear end of the Brezza, you get the full LED tail light setup apart from the reverse and indicator light, which is there with the halogen bulb only. And you get the Brezza branding in the center and the Suzuki branding in the rear. You get the four sensors with the reverse parking camera, and the same black and silver combination of the skid plate is there also in the rear bumper of this car. Now let's move towards the Nexon and talk about the side profile and the rear profile of this car. Over here you get the different alloy wheel design, which we already talked about, and the dual tone combination in this variant, which is the top end variant of this Nexon, the black and the purple combination that is there. And you get this similar kind of color combination in the interior also, like the exterior color that is there in this Tata Nexon. Moving towards the rear end of this car, you get the connected tail light feature over here and the Nexon branding in the center of this car, reverse parking camera, and the two sensors that are there in this Nexon. And in the rear bumper, you get the black and the body combination with the silver skid plate that is there. Both cars get the shark fin antenna, and the rear wiper of this Tata Nexon is hidden over here, which is quite a neat trick. Now two areas where Nexon is slightly ahead from the Maruti Suzuki Brezza is the boot space and the ground clearance. Brezza comes with a boot space of 328 litres, whereas Nexon comes with a boot space of 382 litres. And now when it comes to ground clearance, Brezza gets the ground clearance of 198mm and the Nexon gets the ground clearance of 208mm. Now let's talk about the interior of both these cars. Starting with the Brezza, you get the 9-inch touchscreen front-end system with the Smart Play Connect features, and you get the climate control with the wireless charging over here and the USB charging point with a 12-volt socket. This is the AMT variant that we have with us today, and there's some space to keep your stuff over here, and the two cup holders, and the armrest is also slidable. You get the fabric seats even in the top variant of the Brezza, and apart from that, when it comes to steering wheel, you get the steering controls for the infotainment system on the left side, and you get the cruise control features on the right side of the steering wheel. And the steering wheel has that flat bottom feel over here, which gives it a sporty look. And the instrument cluster is part digital, part analog. You get the MID screen in the center where you get the average fuel economy, range, odometer, gear indicator, time, temperature. All the information is there in that MID, and you get the analog dials for the speedometer and the tachometer in this Maruti Suzuki Brezza. This comes with a smart hybrid feature, and on the right side you get the button for the HUD display that is there in the front of this car, which you don't get in the Nexon. And the overall feel of the cabin is nice, but it's not as premium as the Tata Nexon. Now how's the comfort in the rear seat of Maruti Suzuki Brezza? There's enough legroom, got thigh support and enough headroom for an average height person like me, which is 5'9", and you get the armrest with the two cup holders over here, and the same fabric seats for the rear passengers. You get the AC vents in the center and the two USB charging points, USB-A and USB-C charging points for the rear passengers. A slightly better cabin space is also one of the reasons that you get the less boot space in the Maruti Suzuki Brezza. Now let's talk about the front row of this Tata Nexon. Now one thing that you'll realize once you sit inside the front row of this car, that the overall premiumness of the materials is better than the Brezza in the Tata Nexon. And you get the purple and the black combination in the seats and the leatherette seats in the top variants of this Nexon, and you get the purple and the black combination here in the dashboard as well. And the overall feel, yes, it's premium than the Brezza here in the Tata Nexon. You get the slightly bigger screen, 10.5-inch screen in the Tata Nexon, and you get the automatic climate control features, and to control the fan speed and the temperature you get the physical buttons in the center. Apart from that, all are touch buttons in the Nexon. But also there are a few things missing in the Tata Nexon. You don't get the cup holders in the center console over here, and you have to adjust your hand to put the USB charging cable in the slot over here. But you get the feature of the ventilated seats in the front row of the Tata Nexon that you don't get in the Maruti Suzuki Brezza. Apart from that, there is wireless charging. Moving towards the steering wheel, it also gets the flat bottom steering wheel with the digital Tata logo in the center and the controls for the infotainment system on the left side of steering wheel, and for the cruise control and to control the instrument cluster you get the controls on the right side of steering wheel. And this also gets the full digital instrument cluster, which is not there in the Maruti Suzuki Brezza. So this is what Tata Nexon offers you in terms of front cabin and the features that are there in this Nexon. Now let's talk about the rear seat space of the Tata Nexon. Now the front seat of this Nexon was adjusted according to my height and preference, but the legroom is decent but not as good as the Brezza. Thigh support is good, seats feel comfortable, and you get the leather upholstery here in the rear seat as well. Armrest with two cup holders, center AC vents with two USB charging points, USB-A and USB-C. But as I said before, the cabin feels more spacious and roomy in the Brezza and not in Tata Nexon. And that is mainly because of the difference in the boot space of both these cars. So this is what both these cars offer in terms of cabin feel and the features that are there in the interior of Tata Nexon and the Maruti Suzuki Brezza. Now let's move forward and talk about the performance and drive factor of both these subcompact SUVs. Now the Tata Nexon comes in both petrol and diesel variants, but the Maruti Suzuki Brezza is only available in petrol. We have the petrol versions of both these cars with DCT and automatic transmission combinations. I will be discussing the petrol variants of both these cars. First, let's take a look at the specifications. On the paper, Nexon looks more powerful than the Brezza, and this holds true on the roads as well. The 1.2-litre petrol engine delivers good power and torque both in city and highway conditions. However, being a 3-cylinder engine, it becomes noisy when revved on highways, and this extra noise is noticeable in the cabin. On the other hand, Brezza's 1.5-litre 4-cylinder engine feels much more refined, delivering good performance in city conditions and reaching triple digits without making too much noise. The Nexon is one of the safest cars available in the market, with solid build quality and stability at high speeds, which is an advantage compared to Brezza. Both cars feel comfortable during long and short drives, but the Brezza slightly edges out in this department. The suspension setup and braking performance are well sorted at both slow and high speeds in both these cars. Now let's talk about the elements that I liked about both these cars and I didn't like about both these cars. So first, when it comes to exterior and the interior of the Nexon, it's slightly ahead because it looks modern in terms of exterior and it offers premium interiors compared to the Brezza over here. Now the element that I liked about the Brezza is the overall cabin space, which is better than the Tata Nexon. The third element which I liked about Nexon is the features. You get more features in the Tata Nexon compared to Maruti Suzuki Brezza. And the final element which I liked about Brezza is the engine refinement and the overall smoothness of the engine that is there in the petrol engine of the Brezza compared to Tata Nexon. It's silent and it's smooth at the same time. The advantage of the Nexon lies in its better looks, safety, more features and a more powerful engine. However, the Maruti Suzuki Brezza excels in terms of cabin space, engine refinement, smooth drive, better mileage and comfort. Additionally, the top variant of Brezza costs slightly less than the Nexon. For my requirements, the Brezza makes more sense. Nevertheless, both cars have their pros and cons, so you can choose the one that better fits your needs.